You're listening to Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at SBT Songs, or check us out at chrisblair.com. What's up, everybody? This is Chris Blair, and this is another episode of Stories Behind the Songs. This week, we have Gina Venier with us. Gina actually is our January 2024 Listening Room Unsigned Artist of the Month, and we are so excited we get to spotlight her this week and dive deeper into her career and stories. Gina moved to Nashville about 10 years ago, and from the start has been putting in the work, networking, co-writing, and building her community. You're going to hear the story behind her most recent release, Nora Jane, as we break down some of the lyrics. She's also going to play a portion of it. So if you enjoyed it, give it a stream. It's a good one. And her ability to tell her own story with this one is just incredible. Gina also talks about what it was like being invited by ASCAP to play a writer's round and having tons of people resonate with her story, playing Pride Fest in Nashville, an Alicia Keys cover she recently released, and some new music she has coming out in March. You may also hear a sneak peek of Don't Come to My Show, which is an unreleased song that will be coming out very soon. So check that out. Gina's music has that country sound, but with more of an upbeat pop twist to it. She's got several great songs already out, including $50 and Good For You, available to stream anywhere you find your music. We had a blast sitting down with Gina this week. If you enjoyed what you heard, give Gina a follow. Check her out during the show at the Listening Room, and you can find all of her information in our liner notes, so give it a listen. We also, as always, want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Sennheiser, Imperfect Esthetician, and All Clear In-Ears. If you are looking for a good set of in-ear monitors, make sure to take advantage of our code SBT Songs at checkout for 10% off. Now, let's get to it. Here is this week's episode with Gina Venier. All right, everybody, here we are back again with Gina Venier. How are you?
Good, Chris.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We have been friends for a long time now.
Yes.
You've been playing the Listening Room for years. And yeah, it's just great to always have friends on.
I know. So many memories on this stage. It's kind of different and unique being on here just talking. But it's fun. I have just the fondest memories of this place because of you.
Yeah. You also just last month, we named you the newest Unsigned Artist of the Month.
Thank you
for
so
January
much.
of 24.
Thank you. Great start to the new year.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's a testament to we love watching unsigned artists and just the talent. And, I've been watching you for a long time now, and you're just so good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's an honor. I was just thrilled when you called me and told me that. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about, how you even got here and got into music. You're from Chicago. So walk me through childhood and when you fell in love with music and made the move.
The move happened about 10 years ago. Originally, I'm from a small town outside of Chicago, Dixon, Illinois. I always like to say that at shows, and people are always in the crowd. There's always a few of them that recognize the small town. But moved to Chicago, started pursuing music right around college, my college years, and just realized it was something I wanted to pursue on a deeper level. And my Aunt Victoria has lived in Nashville her whole life, has played the stage many times, and is in music with her husband. And I had just always been visiting Nashville and just grew a really strong connection to the city and the culture. So it was an easy decision once I decided I wanted to do music full time to, just replace myself here.
Yeah.
And it's been, 10 years. That was 2013. And it started truly by coming to places like the Listening Room and going out every night, networking, trying to get into writers' rounds and building that community. And that's what I love about Nashville. I think that's what kind of starts your journey here, is that sense of community. And it also keeps you here.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you lose that, you give up.
Yeah.
So having that and having close friends and not only artist friends, but, folks like yourself in the industry, other creatives. It's just, that's what I love about being here. So I've stayed writing songs, and yeah, that's sort of kind of the background.
Yeah.
A little bit.
One of the things I love that's so cool about, it's this industry and this town specifically, it's like there's this friendly competitiveness, right?
Yes.
Because everybody is like, wants to write that next hit.
True.
But there's like this immense love and support and, like you said, community that is just like, it's not other things or industries and other places. I see a lot of like, oh man, like why didn't I get to do that? Or like, dang man, it's just that's not that support where it's like here it's that pat on the back and like, great job, and it is this just incredible community that I've never experienced anywhere else. I
completely agree. It reminds me of like being on a sports team, and it's like in Nashville, it's still that it's competitive, but you have that sense of, and we love sports. We share our love for sports, and you have that sense of like, if we win together. So there is that like friendly competition because you want to be the best player on the team, but you kind of can't win without your collaborators and your teammates. So I've always tried to, use my music journey closely to kind of like, if there is a sense of competition, like use it as a athletic sort of analogy, because it's helpful kind of being an athlete, in high school and college. And I'm like, okay, this is similar to that energy. But Nashville does have this way of still wanting you to win.
Yeah.
Even unsigned artists or the ones that they kind of see that they have stuck around and for years have told, keep writing. And then they see you or they hear a song and they're like, great. Like, okay, I see you, and that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
But it's quite a process.
Yeah.
For sure.
How was it for you? Like, when you said when you got here, you started just going out to different writers rounds and networking and all of that. How did you build your camp up?
Being myself, honestly, Chris.
Love it.
And because I was the girl that brought the cajon on stage, and I still do, because almost people, even at the listening room, expect it. As a drummer, my music background comes from percussion that I learned from my dad. He, my whole childhood was in a Blues Brothers tribute band. So I always watched him on stage entertaining. Also a drummer, DJ, just filled with music. And so I picked up the drums at a very early age. So that's sort of that's just me being honest. I think people were like, you still need to work on your songwriting, but you're authentically you. You don't really care a whole lot that, chick drummers playing, really personal songs isn't exactly mainstream. But it did build me a sense of like, at least I was remembered.
Yeah.
And I think then when, you get the gig and you create a sense of a different sort of entertainment, like I said, now I come to the listening room and they have a special mic set up for me from the cajon. They're expecting it. And then it creates more of a different type of show. Because I'll invite, Bonner or Lexi or Sean up on stage with me, and I know all their songs. So I'm playing all the grooves and somebody's singing BGVs, and it kind of creates this different show. So I just kept doing that. And whether it was like, a shtick or whatever, it was me. And I even brought, my first few years in sessions, would bring the drums into sessions and write, start with a groove and a melody. And then people are like, okay, that's different. As I learned, the songwriting process, just kind of brought to the table my strengths.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about that a lot because you're always thinking about your weaknesses.
Yeah.
But I just kind of went with the stuff I knew and rolled with it.
That's so good. I've never been in a write where there's been,
I know.
Some
people are like, what's going on?
So many people are writing with track guys now.
Right.
That it's the same thing. Like that's
100%.
Yeah.
And then like once I was starting to write up and write with, better producers and things like that, like these days I don't bring anything in. It's so funny how you grow and you develop and you really just laser focus on the idea.
Yeah.
And try to do away with any distraction. So yeah, it was like my way of building a track.
Yeah.
If you will.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that idea. So I want to go back to a couple years ago. You put out one of my favorite songs that you do.
Thank you.
2022, Take Me Into the Room, when Nora Jane was invented.
I was actually just talking about this exact session last night with my co-writer. Her name is Savannah Santos and Summer Overstreet. So those are the two that we built this really great friendship. And again, going back to that sense of community, so key. Because you're already so vulnerable by being an artist and a songwriter. Mm-hmm. So the last thing that you want to do is go into a session where you're even more self-conscious or vulnerable. So with these two, we'd been friends. We'd been writing for a while. This was like 2017. I'm not even kidding. It was so long ago. And we were talking about this idea of, and you might kind of, understand this, but like saving ideas, where when you have a big session coming up, and some people in Nashville don't go by that rule. It's like, this is your day, give your best idea, this is your moment. Don't save ideas. A lot of other people are like, no, save ideas for great sessions with people you're going to get.
Yeah, especially great. As you're the longer that you write and what idea might be strong for a certain writer, and you're like, oh, this is such a good idea. I'm not gonna let go of this because I've got XYZ on the books in 3 weeks.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and you learn sort of that cadence of like your schedule and your ideas. And this one particularly was just a part of my story that like I had that I wanted to somehow write about, but not be in your face about. And it was just part of my journey and part of my, relationship, like process, I guess. And I brought this idea to Summer and she helped me sort of like more like seamlessly write these thoughts. Like I just dumped all of my thoughts and my feelings. And then they were like, okay, let's put this together and let's create something that is a universal love story. So that's where Nora Jane came from. And it is directly my story. There was a Nora Jane, and I didn't even plan on putting the song out, but I would play it here. I played it the moment that I really knew that it needed to be in the world was after I played it at 30A. I was invited from ASCAP to go down there and play some songs, and I was on stage with some insanely great hit songwriters, and I played Nora Jane, and Chris, like so many people came up to me, and they do here still today, and they're like, you just wrote my story. Whether they're obviously kind of like replacing Nora Jane with, somebody they were bringing home that they were nervous. My dad always relates it to the movie Who's Coming to Dinner, or Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Yeah. Exactly. Like you can replace your Nora Jane with your, person that you were kind of like just nervous about. And mine is obviously like was and can be a little bit more taboo, but when you sing it and write it in the way that we did, people were just like, girl, this is my story. So many messages. So 6 months after that show at 30A, I put it out. And at the time I was signed to Warner Chappell and a co-venture with my former publisher. And it was just such a fun process because they really wanted to help me put that song out. And so we did. And it's been, really fun watching it become other people's sort of soundtrack as well. Yeah. And just one of my life experiences.
Yeah. I want to break down some of the lyrics and talk about like just the process in that room. If it was a very quick and easy write, or if it was one of those, it was like, man, this is deep and like, like takes a while, but I'm afraid everyone I love won't love me the same.
Yeah. It's just that, oh my gosh, the turbulence of like, your heart is just, you want to please everybody. That's like, it's like such the human experience. It's like, I mean, especially you want to make your parents proud and, starting as a kid. So that line is just, it basically is the whole integrity of the song.
Yeah.
And then you hear, the bridge and it's a happy ending and everyone's just stoked for you. And that's where my favorite line comes in is the bridge, like following the, the trepidation of not being liked by people. And then the bridge comes in and you're like, I found everyone I love still loves me the same. And I actually found they love me more because they only want, when you love someone, you want them to, I don't know, shine their light, and if you love them.
Yeah. And
so that's what I found. I was like, girl, this should have been out, years ago and all that. But it was, gosh, thinking about it, it's really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we hear part of it?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. Verse, chorus?
Okay. Verse 1?
Whatever you pick.
Okay. Let's do verse 1. Let's just kick it off. You can listen to the rest on your own, right?
That's right, yeah.
All right, so here's Nora Jane. They used to hate the way Jake smoked his life away. And Luke had too many tattoos that didn't really mean a damn thing. Can't blame me for my hesitation, why I've been waiting so long. Because I see it in my head, that's why I'm scared to death. What if this goes wrong? What's my dad gonna do when I bring you home? What's my mom gonna say when I tell her you're the one I love? Tell her you're the one I want. And is my brother gonna hate me? I'm afraid everyone I love won't love me the same when I tell them your name. Nora Jane.
This episode is brought to you by Brit Skin Beauty. Located in the beautiful Indulgence Medi Spa in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Brittany is the go-to esthetician for facials, dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, waxing, lashes, and any skincare products and consultations. So many people in the music industry use her frequently, and her work speaks for itself. To schedule your next consultation or make an appointment, visit britskinbeauty.com or send an email to britskinbeauty@gmail.com.
Love it. Yeah, so that came out in 2022.
2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. And and it's still kind of like alive today. I mean, I still play it at all my shows. I've got Nora Jane hats. It's kind of become part of what people sort of expect to hear and to talk about. And I'm here for that. I started this out by saying it's part of my journey, it is who I am, but there's so many other, components to being human. And so at first I was afraid to kind of lead with that because then you might get put into a certain category, which is not a bad thing. But that's not why I moved here. I wanted to be able to relate to everybody. And so when I explain that to people and when people get to know me better, they can understand like the full complex. But Nora Jane has become something really special. It led me to playing my first Pride Festival, the main stage here in Nashville. That was a crazy lineup. Tanya Tucker was on the same bill as me that night, and some great friends, Autumn Nicholas, Brooke Eden, and it was just. It led to, it opened up some doors and new doors for me. So you just, you go in and you hope that it's a song that people remember, but then they also want to learn the rest of you and hear the rest of the song. So it's a great door opener.
Yeah. And everybody out there listening can go hear the rest of that song. So we'll put in the liner notes where they can find you and follow you. Love and it. All of that
Thank
stuff.
You.
So
thanks, Chris.
Go do that.
Awesome.
Speaking of songs, you've got new releases come out.
Yep.
And you just recently released a cover by Alicia Keys. So what made you decide to put a cover out?
So the main bill paying gig is playing covers. So I'm pretty much playing 4 or 5 times a week downtown and restaurants, and I play about like a 2 to 3 hour cover set. And so I know a lot of songs, and they do help with your writing during the day. But that song, this Alicia Keys song, it was just, to be honest, like, I would play it and I would just see sort of people turn around and be like, oh, I forgot about that song in the vault. And it was a huge hit in like 2009. And I love the R&B, pop hits. So I just was like, in the meantime of working on this music, the new music as it gets mixed and all that good stuff, let's just put up a cover.
Yeah.
So Alicia Keys, Unthinkable. And I worked with Savannah Santos again on that. She's just a brilliant producer and songwriter in this town. And so she and I worked up that song. We released it yesterday, which was January, whatever day it is.
Yeah.
And then we've got our original music coming out in March. Same crew. Savannah's producing it, and I wrote most of the new music with her and Summer. And then a couple of the songs feature some other writers. Zach Dyer, who we love here at the Listening Room. Fancy Haygood is on a song on the new record, and it's just a great little team of collaborators. Couple of songs that are possibly in the mix are written with myself and Chris Galbuda. So I'm just really excited about this new batch of music that's really my message.
Yeah. When does that come out?
The first single will be March 1st, and sort of putting teasers out as we do on social media.
Is that Don't Come to My Show?
Don't Come to My Show.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Which is another one that kind of raises, like, you see in the crowd when you play it at your writers' rounds, and they're like, oh, man, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
And it's not like Don't Come to My Show, because you've got an audience of whatever they do for work, and they're like, no, I get that, but I'm just replacing that with, like, don't show up at my workplace, and don't hit me up on text or whatever. So
yeah,
it's I'm excited about this new batch, just lyrically mostly, to share.
Let's dive into that first single a little bit.
Sure.
And talk about just the full story of, like, the idea and all that.
So I would say in the rooms, I talk about my drumming background, but as I sort of grew out of that, I was really, my other strength is bringing in those ideas.
Yeah.
We all have something that we have to stretch in that room, right? And then you put those perfect groups together. Whereas Summer is so good at lyric, her dad's Paul, and it's in her blood, songwriting. Yeah. It's like, I learned so much from her about just the art and the craft and respecting the songwriting. And then you've got Savannah, who's a producer. So she's doing the track stuff. And she was in a group called Avenue Beat that, took off in 2020 for their viral hit, and just is just brilliant at production. So I'm coming in as sort of like guitar artist in the room at that moment, which isn't always the case. And I just would hit them with, like, the notes in my phone. And I find a lot of my ideas come traveling or on long walks, which I take, like, every day, like 3 times a day. And so I'm just writing different notes, and I love a good 5-word title. I think that just hits on the hook really well. Just making sure. And so I had this 5-word title. I'm like, you guys know I love a good 5-word title. It just hits better at the end. And I was talking about, when an ex just shows up unannounced, uninvited to a show, and they're standing in the back, and it's just like, why are you here? It's very clear we are not meant to be together for any reason, whether it was your choice or my choice. And they just nodded. They were like, oh my gosh. And you can tell the energy in the room where it's like, oh yeah, let's go back to that idea. So we did. And then we developed it more into like the choruses, don't come to my show, don't call on my birthday, don't talk to my friends, don't send me a song, don't drop off my clothes, don't send me a drink from the end of the bar like you know what I need. Like it's all about we're done.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sassy, but production wise, I'm playing the drums on it. So it's my moment on the full kit.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Love it.
It was a decision we made like at the very end of the production process. It's like we could either hire this out as an indie artist. That stuff adds up. So Savannah and I kind of chatted through. She's like, let's just have you do a pass on it. I'll mic up this kit that I have. So we spent like an hour. I just started playing different grooves. We ended up cutting those drums. And no one's going to tell, you know what I mean? So it's like, just do it. If you can do it and there's a feel to it. So I'm on the drums. We've got, I'm playing acoustic as well. And then another awesome Nashville artist, musician, Ellen Angelico, is playing the guitars. So she's just a badass female guitar player. And so it's got a Nashville feel. So it could kind of fit in that alt Nashville country pop while still like maybe landing on Lightning 100, you know, because it's got that sort of, I don't know, indie feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Can we get a little sneak peek?
Oh my gosh. Should we play? I mean, I can try. I didn't write it on guitar, so I wonder, should we just
putting you on the spot.
Should we play it like an audio of it?
Yeah, we can do that.
Let me think. I can try to get through the chorus. Can I use a cheat sheet?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get through the chorus for you guys. Oh man. Chris. Put me on the
I know.
That's okay. We do this.
You're a pro.
Thank you. Okay, let's do it. Learning your songs is also a whole other thing when you write so much,
don't know
right?
my songs.
I know. I've been trying to get better at it, just with writing so much. All right, here's the chorus of Don't Come to My Show. So don't come to my show. Don't call on my birthday. Don't send me a drink from the end of the bar like you know what I need. Honestly, what I needed was you to say sorry. But that's just not who you are. So don't act like we're friends, 'cause you know good at that part. Act like someone who broke my heart.
So good. I can't wait for that to come out.
March
Yes.
1st.
Yes.
And
March 1st.
Sounds much better than that little ditty, but
I can't wait to hear the groove and the drums.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to listen in knowing that little fact, but yep, it's been a fun journey, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank
You've
you.
absolutely killed it and
Thank
are
you.
going to continue to. So we'll keep watching and
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Listening Room and to you for doing stuff like this and keeping our community just fed and alive and well, truly. Every single person that like I bring on this stage is humbled the second they stand here. So that's all thanks to you and for building this amazing platform for singer-songwriters in Nashville.
Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Before we wrap up,
Okay.
you said you listened to Bonner's episode, so you might know what's coming.
Okay.
Did you listen to the whole episode?
Is this the question? The
Yeah.
5, what is it?
I'm just going to ask you. Okay.
Spitfire, like, okay.
Okay. So, you have been here about 10 years. You've learned a lot. You've gone through it. So if you're going back to Chicago to 8-year-old Gina, what advice do you give yourself today?
trust the process, trust yourself, have fun, do your best, have fun.
Love it.
Don't forget to have fun.
Yeah.
I take things so seriously. Like I do. So it's just like, if I could go back to 8-year-old G, I'd say, you know, you got this. Just chill.
Yeah.
I need to be told that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. What
Yeah.
else you got for me?
That's
it.
That's the question.
Okay, wait.
That's the big
I
question.
need to ask you a question.
Okay.
Then. All right.
Okay. Let's go.
Let's say same thing. I'm seriously curious. What do you tell 8-year-old Chris, thinking about where you're at today? See, it's not easy.
No. Yeah, I ask everybody this. It's never been turned around on me. So thank you for that. You know, I think it would just be to follow your dream and trust that it will work out a lot sooner.
Than you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like not that the plan will work out sooner than you think, but like trust in it like earlier on. And I guess what I mean by that is like I moved to town to chase his dream. And I was playing 5 nights a week at Tootsie's. But I was paying the bills more so by being a banker by day. And I let my dream kind of start to slip away because I kept getting promoted and all of this. And like the next thing you know is like banking was up here and music was down here. And I wasn't doing it. And I was like, this isn't what I moved to Nashville for. And it was when I finally was like, I'm going to just do this and trust in it. Like I think I would have told my 8-year-old self, like, hey, you've got what it takes. Don't second guess yourself and just go for it.
And could you ever think that this is like what it like led to?
No.
Because this is like beyond probably anything you ever imagined.
No. Yeah. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, we're not a cafe. I mean, you know, we're 250 seats in the venue and with a full, you know, front room. Like what I thought it would be is what I started, which was a cafe. Like It was the Listening Room Cafe. It was.
Yeah. You don't really think about that. Like it's in the name, but it's not like we're not going and having coffee. We're going to go see some amazing music. We literally had 40, 50 seats and, you know, and I was, like I said, coming off of banking job, making more money than I ever thought I'd make in my life. And, you know, it was like telling my mom and dad, like, hey, I'm going to quit this job and that's crazy.
Start a music venue.
Oh my gosh.
And they were like, oh, what?
Thank God you did. So, yeah.
I
mean, Nashville just wouldn't be Nashville without it, without you, without this place. I mean that.
Thank you.
And then once people experience it, they realize that this is real Nashville. Because I mean, it's like, it's what the songwriting community tells your tourists what to do. So then once they experience it, they're like, oh no, if you want real Nashville, this is where you go. Doesn't matter which night of the week, just go. And then they know, and then their friends, you know, you've probably seen it happen like that, where it's just like, it spreads because it's just word of mouth.
Yeah.
So now the shows are just slammed for brunch. You know, the last brunch we played with Lexi and Bree Kennedy was amazing. And it was a Saturday at 1:00.
Yeah.
And it was like these people were just hungry and thirsty for music and entertainment. And it was, I think we sold it out for our Saturday.
I think
brunch.
I was here that Saturday. Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And and so you built that. It's just, it's fun to.
I didn't build it. I came up with the idea.
Okay.
And I chased that dream, but I didn't build it. You built it.
Oh.
You know, all of the songwriters built it. My staff built it. Like it's, you know, like I could not do this without the amazing songwriters that come on this stage and share their stories, and with the amazing staff that we have
so true.
Here. It's, you know, Nashville built it. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's so great. Well, we're happy that you didn't give up on it, and that, you know, the banking thing didn't work out because it doesn't sound as fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't worn a suit and tie unless I'm going to a wedding or a funeral.
Isn't that a great feeling?
20 years.
Yeah. That's that's the dream, right? That's living the dream.
Yeah.
We get to wear like Canadian tuxedos to work every day.
Yeah. And I rarely even wear a tie if I'm going to one of those things.
Right.
Like,
right.
Like, my mom will be like, "You're not going to put a tie on? You're not going to shave?" I'm like,
express yourself.
This is who I am.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
oh.
Well, Gina, thank you so much for the time. And thank you for being one of our unsigned artists. And we're huge supporters, as you know. We love you. And we're just going to keep cheering you on.
Thanks, Chris. And thanks, Listening Room. It's a great conversation today. First podcast. So thank you.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys, everybody out there for listening. Make sure you check out the liner notes. We will share all the details on how you can follow Gina and us. And we will see you next time. This has been an episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information after the show, head over to chrisblair.com. That's where you can find information on these episodes, trailer notes, video links, all kinds of great stuff. Also, make sure to leave us a great rating on iTunes, like and follow us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. I really hope that you think this show is awesome, and we really appreciate the love and support. I promise to keep gathering great content and continuing to sit down with more amazing songwriters and artists as we grow. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.